Hey everybody, it's Ilya and I'm back with another motivational video. So once again, the Especialito, this is another good one. So I will read it in Spanish and then I will translate. Tu única limitación es la que te impones tú mismo con tus pensamientos. The only limitation you put upon yourself is with your own thoughts. How many people can relate to this? I mean, goodness gracious. Just thinking about it. I mean, how many times it's like, in life, sometimes you're worried about a test or you're worried about a task or you're worried about the next step, whether it's in college or high school, going to college, what colleges are you going to pick? The SAT tests, or in college you have a presentation, whatever it is, sometimes you psych yourself out. You start thinking and thinking and thinking, and that's tricky territory, because once you start thinking, there's so many things you think. You know, for me, it goes to when I'm really nervous about something, the bad scenario, like, oh my gosh, like presentations, holy sugar. When I was in grade school, that's where it started, and it started even really bad, because in sixth grade we had to do an oral presentation, and it was in history class on the subject of your choosing. I decided the Gettysburg Address. Oh, that was a nightmare, because I was so nervous. Like, I tried to, I had my index cards and try to study them, memorize, because you weren't supposed to read your cue card, your index cards, or anything on paper. You were supposed to know it. And I was so nervous. I did what I always do, or always did after, was I made a visual. So the Gettysburg Address, I had these toy soldiers. I had I made this like a graveyard, with dirt and all that stuff, stones, you name it, just so that people can look at it, so they wouldn't have to look at me, because I was very self-conscious, and I still am to this day. But that was really bad. It got so bad. I was The only reason I passed, because my teacher gave me a zero. Did she give me a zero, or did she give me she failed me? But she told the class, like the class and her would grade you, and the class had pity on me. So I passed barely. So maybe it wasn't a zero. Anyway, the point is that I barely passed, and ever since then I would just psych myself out. But college came, and the whole summer after high school, I was thinking about, oh my gosh, I'm going to college. There's always oral presentations. What am I going to do? Oh my God. And I had two of them, I believe. One was basically just, you were doing presenting something that you liked to do, or a talent or something. I can't remember vividly here, but I decided to paint like Bob Ross. I was able to do it because it was visual. People weren't looking at me as much as they were looking at the painting, but I was already psyching myself out, telling myself how bad it was and how bad it was going to be. I can't do this. I'm never going to be able to do this. But it can also bleed into other areas of your life, like even passing a grade or doing a book report. I'm never going to be able to do this. I'm never going to be able to pass this course. And I did. Time and time again, I proved. And of course, my mom was always there in my ear telling me, you can do it, you can do it. So that kind of negated all of this that was going on up here. Obviously, she wasn't there with me, but her words helped me a lot in my life to keep going, to press on, to not listen to that negative voice. Fast forward to now as an adult. I mean, there's so many things. When I graduated pastry school, and for interviews, if you want a job, you don't actually talk to the person. You do a little bit, but the way they hire you is you actually work a shift. Maybe not the entire shift, but they want to see how you make a creme anglaise, make the base for an ice cream, chocolate souffle, whatever. They want to see your skills. Do you know, and do you know it by memory? Or can you take instructions well? Oh man, so I did trail at a couple of places and I messed up royally at one place. I was so nervous that I dropped the sheet pan. Thank goodness it was half a sheet pan, but it was a sheet pan of pastries. And I dropped it on the floor. I was so nervous. And he actually eventually hired me anyway, or he offered me the job. And I'm disappointed because I turned it down because I didn't think I could do it. I really didn't. I did stay at a restaurant that I was very happy in because I did love where I was. But I could have gone somewhere else and been had a bigger role. I'm not sure how far I would have gotten, to be honest with you, because I was having a lot of back, neck issues due to strength and lack of strength and subluxation. But that is a missed opportunity. That's always why I tell myself since then is you need to take a leap of faith. If not, you're always going to wonder what if. That is a question I do not want to ask myself. And unfortunately, I have asked myself, what if I would have done this at that time? Then fast forward to different parts of my life where my own thoughts are enough to keep me from doing certain things, even though I have pushed through more, taken a lot of risks when I look at it. But it not only doesn't have to be your own thoughts. Sometimes it can be somebody else that's poisoning your mind, and maybe their insecurities or their belittlement of you become your thoughts now. So I had an ex-boss, she belittled me a lot, and I started to believe what she was saying, the way she was treating me. When you treat somebody a certain way, like they're stupid, when you tell them, like for emails, we have to reach out for emails to request, we had to request certain things via email, scripts and stuff. Coming from a job before that where my boss sang my praises and I was like, oh my God, this is great. I was so excited because I always took initiative because the job even before that I loved. I was a supervisor. I loved it. I left. I took a risk to greener pastures, and it was until the company closed that department. So then I moved on to a different area of this kind of job where I was not familiar. It was the corporate side of things. And again, taking initiative, that's just something I was completely used to. I was told, please don't reach out to these people. Please don't reach out unless you talk to me first. I wasn't allowed to reach out to anybody almost because I wasn't smart enough to put sentences together. So that negativity started to work in my mind, and I was constantly telling myself, I cannot do this. I cannot do it. I'm too stupid to do anything. I'm such an idiot. I'm such a piece of, sugar. I'm worthless. And all of that it was going on and on and on. And everything that I tried to do, it was always, I would stop myself. I can't do this. I'm too stupid. I'm worthless. I'm stupid. The same thing over and over and over again. So when a friend of mine, she reached out initially, she reached out once before, and due to stomach reasons, I wasn't able to make the leap. And to be honest, I was fearful because it was a little bit different than it was more concentrated in one area of what I was doing. And that was another area that I was not allowed to because I wasn't smart enough to get it in that other place. Here, when I finally did make the leap because I just couldn't anymore, I just prayed, oh my gosh, please let me understand how this all works, because it was different. It was dealing with different things. But, she went on maternity leave, and in that moment, in that time, I hadn't healed enough mentally to handle everything. But when I looked back, when I finally reflected of on everything after my dad passed. And even a little bit before then, she knew I could do it. Why else would she recommend me? And I did. I handled the department myself. I proved to myself that I could do it. However, I didn't enjoy this because of all the negativity and stress I was still hanging on to in here and in here from the other place. I did not handle it well. Those voices, that inner dialogue, of that limitation I set on myself really held me back. And it continued a little bit even now, where there are moments where, I still want to continue my yoga, getting the certification, and it's a lot more faint than it used to be, but every once in a while, if it's too quiet, sometimes I hear it. It's not as bad as it was, but it's still there. So it's a work in progress. And I think in life, not only do you have to deal with your inner dialogue, sometimes you have to deal with others' inner dialogue, and make sure that you understand your worth, understand that you have to take risks in life, and some things may not pan out and some things will, but the point is to give it a shot. Once you do that, those limitations, there won't be any limitations anymore. The limitations we have in life are the ones we set on ourselves. And yes, our own thoughts can be super, super, super toxic. And I've done a great job giving myself kudos, because I have come a long way. I have come a long way. Yeah, I have my moments. Everyone does in their jobs where you're like, oh my God, I don't want to answer the phone. But that's life. That's not only jobs, that's in life in general. When I get right down to it, I've accomplished a lot. I'm doing a lot that I never did before because I never thought I was capable. I had those thoughts in my head. I was already thinking, I'm not that great. But when you have that other chatter, that made it it just magnified it 10 times. So don't listen to that chatter, whether it's somebody else or yourself, because you don't deserve to put limitations on yourself. I've gotten really far, and I know I can go even further. I have a lot of work to do, but I can go even further if I keep working at it and remembering how important I am, and that this works. There's no limitations. There's no limitations. And I'm smart enough to do what I want. It may take me a little bit longer than I would like, but I will get there. And I hope you guys do the same. Let me know if you like this motivational video. I hope that it inspired you, and I will be back with another motivational video next week.